tour, and I'm at the casino at the Indian Reservation. I'm at the casino at the Indian Reservation, as you guys can see. And I don't gamble, but this is a conversation, guys, that's dear to my heart. You know, I had the opportunity to get some intel from Brother Sperling. I will be looking at that video at some point. But the topic, guys, is Black reparations. Black reparations, I got some Indian in me. Black reparations, I got some Indian in me. And so I'm at the casino in Cherokee, where the Cherokee band of Indians reside. And the question, guys, on today is, can Black reparations change the mental wellness or change the mental image or enhance the mentality of descendants of African descent? And it's a very tedious question, but it's a very also non-exhaustive question as well. Because I am an advocate for reparations, but how we're going to appropriate it can be problematic. Americans of African descent never got the proper resolve like other ethnic groups. And while some conservatives would say they did, Black folks of African descent have never really gotten their fair portion like other ethnic groups, like the native Chinese that came to America, like the Japanese, and other ethnic groups that were victims of oppression. But the truth is, or the question is, guys, can reparations change the image of Black people? And I think the answer is yes. But how it's going to be appropriated, it can't be appropriated to all people. Or if it is appropriated, it has to be appropriated in the right way. And the reason why I say that is that if the government can give a portion of money to the Ukraine, if it can give a portion of money to other entities, then it can give money to Black people of African descent. But the problem is we live in a culture where leadership is devoid. And I don't think reparations can be properly appropriated until you have a stronger community. I do believe that money should be allocated aside for the sake of reparations. But how those reparations are going to be disseminated, that's another thing. How those reparations are going to be disseminated, that's another thing. Dennis sent me some information. Shout out to Attorney Sperling. He sent me some information about reparation. I'm going to be doing a review on it at some point. And I decided to talk about it. But, you know, one of the things that Black people in America have struggled with, I think some have struggled with image issues because we have been more or less pillaged and mentally invaded by some forms of white supremacy. And we're not saying that's all the fact, but one could argue that there's a percentage of Black people that have a low self-esteem, and they minimize what their brilliance and greatness is. Once again, guys, we're at the casino at the Native American Indian Reservation. But they minimize their greatness because of their image. And so, as I said, I do believe in reparations. I believe if the government can give millions of dollars to Ukraine, then they can allot a certain amount of money and appropriate that money for those of African descent to more or less build generational wealth that was stolen. I do believe that. How it's going to happen, I don't know. I don't think everyone should be given it because, you know, I think only certain types of Black people should be given reparations because many won't know how to handle it because they don't know how to manage money and they don't know how to spend money. You say you agree, brother? Y'all hear what this brother say he agreed. And so he agreed. He said the brother pumping his fist, no doubt. He said he agreed with what I was saying. So I don't think reparations would be appropriate for all Black people. It's only a certain type of Black person that has been responsible, know how to manage money, because you can give a man and they money, and the reparation they get, they would damn go and blow it because they are mentally broken. They are mentally broken. They don't understand finances. You can give them money, and I think it should be under certain stipulations. But the question has always been, I got some Indian in me when it comes down to Black people. Because I got some Indian in me, in my opinion, is a sign of brokenness And I think it's an inferiority complex. And I think it's an inferiority complex because our image was mostly distorted due to racism. It was mostly distorted due to racism. And so, those guys you see here, these are Cherokee Indians. I'm in Cherokee, North Carolina. These are Cherokee Indians. And the Cherokee Indians were stations band of people. There are people of African descent that have Cherokee ancestry inside of them. But giving reparation to the wrong black person can be a detriment. I think it's only black people that have been productive, have a good track record, a good track history. They are not the man-mans and the Keishas of the world. I don't think they deserve no damn reparations until they go to some proper training, because they don't understand the importance of money. And so I like to separate good black people from dusty black people. White people do it all the time. They separate good white folks from the dusty ones. And when you think about Cherokee of African descent, that's what the question would be. And so it becomes problematic, guys, because black slave labor built America. Black slave labor built America. And the vestiges of Jim Crow racism still remain and still have been imprinted or left more or less an indelible imprint on the psyche of many black people. To the point, many say I have some Indian in me to more or less get a vestige or a spectacle of feeling good about themselves. But the truth is, the greatness of those of African descent supersedes the native people. The greatness of those of African descent supersedes the native people. Indians and Africans are allies of one another. Once again, guys, for those who just tuned in, I'm at the casino at the Cherokee Reservation. And the question, once again, is I have some Indian in me. I have some Indian in me, and should black people get reparations? And I think they should get reparations, but it should be under certain stipulations. And it should be under certain conditions. Because sadly, many don't know how to appropriate it correctly. And many don't know how to manage the money appropriately because of the brokenness that we have in our families and communities. I would say 40 or 50 years ago, I think black people would have been better prepared for reparations because the world was different. And while I still believe in it now, I think most people would misuse that money because they don't understand the importance of a dollar and how money works. You can give a man money, but that man don't understand how money operates. He will never multiply that money. And you can't get money if you're dealing with the mental inferiority complex. And I think there's a percentage of black people, not all, but there's a percentage of those from the African diaspora that deal with a mental inferiority complex. That's why they say I have some Indian in me. And the way to repair or reduce the notion that I got some Indian in me, in my opinion, is to create generational wealth, to more or less build more, well, how can I say it, sustainable communities, and to more or less build sustainable communities where the men are leading and where the women are following male leadership. But you can't have a perfect union when you don't have strong black families and strong black communities. And guys, you see here, I'm at the casino in Cherokee, North Carolina, home of the Native American Indians. If you guys can see, it's people from all over the world here in Cherokee, North Carolina at the casino. I do not gamble. I'm not a gambler, so, you know, some of you might say, well, coach out here gambling. No, I don't gamble, never have gambled. I don't see the benefit of it, but I'm not gonna buy, that's their business. But I'm here in Cherokee, North Carolina. And the question is, the Cherokee people have been given a partition of money. They have been given grants by the government. And as you guys can see, they have casinos. They have casinos here. This is a very nice place. They have casinos. But the question is, where's the reparations that have never been given to those of African descent? Once again, black slave labor built America. Black slave labor built America. And many times America never refunded black people for their labor, for their hard work, for their discrimination, and for their brokenness. There have been a psychological warfare impact on the psyche of those of African descent. Now, while I don't believe in gross victimization, I don't believe everything is white supremacy. I don't believe that. I do believe it has played a role to some part. While I do believe if black men and black women work together as a team, they could reverse it. The communities that have been broken due to indoctrination, God said, to say the least. And so, even if we got it, how you doing, man? Even if we got reparations, as I said earlier, I don't think the current generation is ready for reparations. As you guys can see, man, these are Native American people. These are the Cherokee. These are the band of Cherokee guys. These are the Cherokee Indians. But once again, I don't think they will be ready. I don't think they will be ready, guys, for reparations because of so much brokenness in our society. A world that's devoid of leadership. A world that's devoid of traditionalism like we had in the past. And a world that's devoid of faith. And also people that have not been healed properly due to transgenerational trauma that has been more or less transmitted through the bloodlines, that have been more or less transmitted through the gene pool, that has been more or less transmitted through negative words and negative associations, because life and death is in the power of the tongue. And so the war cry of black reparations and the lost identity of those of African descent, they cannot coalesce together until, in my opinion, there be some type of unified therapy and also financial training, financial classes, if we will ever give those of African descent reparations. Because while I do believe in it, and I know some will argue, well, the government is broken, and it is broken, but the last time I saw, the government had plenty of money for the Ukraine and had plenty of money for others, but they have not adequately given black people the money or the proper appropriation that some black conservatives would say they have, but I would vehemently disagree. And while I don't believe that everything is white supremacy, I don't believe everything is white supremacy, there have been a system of white supremacy that still exists. But a lot of times the things that we deal with now, in my opinion, is self-inflicted. Some of it is. And some of it, a lot of it's liberal indoctrination. I think the right hand of white supremacy, sadly, has been many of our women. Many of our women, guys, have been the right hand of white supremacy. And so you can't change what you don't acknowledge. And until America acknowledges the travesty and the misjustice and the disrespect that is more or less associated towards those of African descent, until black people get the proper training and get the proper counseling and get the proper resolve to heal, until they reduce that negative schema that they have concerning their image and concerning their value and concerning their worth, until we start having more shows talking about the brilliance of those of African descent, instead of always talking about a slave narrative. Because let me tell you something, guys. I think we need to start getting away from that slave narrative or movies about slavery all the damn time. Black excellence and black greatness supersedes slavery. We just got to last. But slavery ain't nothing new. There have always been nations associated with slavery. There have always been nations that have been enslaved. The word slave comes from the word Slav. But many times in the media, many times in movies, we always trace those of African descent and always have damn stories about slavery instead of having stories about black brilliance and black excellence. And because of that, it's caused some black people to have a schema affliction, and that schema affliction, once again, is predicated in saying stuff like, I have some Indian in me, because they have a low self-esteem. And so, once again, you can't have reparations. You can't have damn reparations until you have black mental rejuvenation. Reparations without black mental rejuvenation is a recipe for disaster. Because if you don't have black mental rejuvenation, you can give damn folks reparations all you want to. They'll take that damn money and buy weave and buy rims and car tires and goofy stuff, because they don't have a mindset about black brilliance and black wealth, but they have a consumer mindset. And so you got to break the mental chains of years of psychological programming. You have to break the mental chains of years of psychological conditioning. You have to break the psychological chains of everything associated with that. Hey guys, you have to break the chains of psychological conditioning. Hey, you have to break the chains of psychological conditioning until we can start having a better conversation. When that happens, and when that happens consistently, then I believe that the conversation of reparations can be greater. But black folks deserve reparations. But some of these ninjas like Keisha and Man, they don't deserve no reparations, because they're going to waste it on stupid stuff. They're not going to know how to manage that money. They need proper education and teaching in order to get reparations. So once again, guys, the question should be, or the question is, should those of African descent get reparations like Native Americans? Native Americans got it in the form of casinos. They got it in the form of casinos. And as you guys can see here, this guy's it's a Cherokee Indian. And many times black folks will say, I got some Cherokee in me, because they got a low self-esteem. They attach to any and damn everything, because they don't see the brilliance in their Africanness. They don't see the brilliance in their kinky hair. They don't see the brilliance in their thick lips and their broad nose. To the point now, guys, it's gotten so bad, even in Africa, you have a lot of folks that are doing bleaching and try to change how they look, because they got a low self-esteem. And I'm going to say it once, and I'm going to say it again. There ain't nothing wrong with having dark, beautiful skin. And I think you see more women doing it than men. Most men, you don't see black men bleaching their skin. You don't even see it in African countries, but because women's, I guess, more or less supposed to be the beauty standard, many have a low self-esteem. So the question is, reparations, should it happen? Yes. How it should happen, that's where it gets complex. Because, as I said earlier, the family structure is not strong enough to have or give thousands or millions of dollars out to reckless people that don't know how to damn spend or appropriate money correctly. I would propose that reparations be given in the form of maybe grants, business loans, or something like that. But just giving a bunch of money out to people that don't understand how money works, or they have a consumer mindset or a slave mindset where they spend all the time. I don't think, guys, that would be appropriate or proper, because they won't use the money correctly. And when you got broken homes, when you got a bunch of people in debt, when you got a damn generation of women wearing hair hats, shout out to Tommy Sotomayor for that word, hair hats. When you got a generation of women wearing hair hats and talking about damn installations, where they're kicking out thousands of dollars for weave because there's a weave addiction. And shout out to all my natural queens, because there are sisters that have natural hair. But when you got a generation of women with hair hats and mismanaging money, then giving folks reparations would be stupid. There's a method to this madness, guys, and many are not ready for money, and many are not ready for reparations. And so when we put all those factors together and look at how people are still impacted negatively as you guys are seeing here in Cherokee, North Carolina, and see how they are impacted negatively, then we can't have the conversations because years of trauma have destroyed those of African descent. Years of trauma and years of a transgenerational trauma, while some superseded it, we were still impacted by it. There are people that have superseded trauma, but they have still been impacted by that. The contrarian will say, well, we were greater years ago, and we were greater years ago, but we were greater because, of my opinion, because we had faith and we had community. But the vestiges of Jim Crow racism were still embedded in our psyches. And many of us have never really gotten or healed from that. But we were a lot better then. But now we live in a trash society where the family or the nuclear family has been systematically destroyed due to liberal politics and liberal dogmas, where our women have been crafted, many of them, not all, but many or percentage of our women have been crafted to more or less usurp the authority of the men in the home. They have been crafted to say, I'm strong and independent. I don't need no damn man. They have been crafted to, the government have given women jobs over competent black men many times because it was all by design. So giving reparations to broken people doesn't make financial sense to me. And I know that's hard to quantify and hard to measure, but giving reparations to broken people doesn't make good sense to me. And until we continue to have the conversation on how to appropriate reparations, until we have a large consortium where it's more or less dealing with the traumas associated by black people in the past, these conversations, guys, become a circular conversation. But reparations, do I believe in it? Yes, I believe in it. How to appropriate it, that's the $1 million question. How do I appropriate reparations to those of African descent? And then the contrarian will also say, what percentage of African people were slaves? So I would say if you can trace your roots back to plantations, then you should get reparations. Because once again, where I'm from, the area that I'm from, my ancestors are direct descendants of slave ports. Where I'm from, there was a plantation, and many black folks came or are from that plantation. And so it would be easy for me to trace my roots back to perhaps being involved in the slave trade. But right now, I think while I believe in reparations, I just don't know how it will be properly appropriated in these modern times. Some will argue that we're trillions and trillions of dollars in debt. How are we going to do it? That's what some will argue. How can you give reparations when we are trillions of dollars in debt? That's what many will argue. Many will say that the system is bankrupt. So how can you give reparations when the system is bankrupt? But more importantly, how can you give reparations when people have low self-esteem, when people constantly say stupid stuff like, I got some Indian in me, and I'm guilty. I think we all are guilty of it to some degree, which I don't have a problem with that because there are some black people.
That's a lot of great for me.
They have Native American ancestry. The black freedmen, they some do have Native American ancestry. But some say I have Indian in me, in my opinion, because some of it's low self-esteem. Or they don't feel good about themselves or their ethnic heritage, that they got to more or less assert that they have Native American ancestry to make themselves feel good. And that's not all by and large, but I think it is a percentage. So what do you guys think? Do you guys believe in reparations? Yes or no? And if you do believe in reparations, how should it be appropriate? As you guys can see once again, at the casino at the reservation, home of the Native American Indians. If you do believe in reparations, how should it be appropriated? How should it be appropriated if you believe in reparations, guys? Because with the elections coming up, that's going to be the $1 million question. How should it be appropriated? So I'm about to go back downstairs. and get back on the road. I also wanted to talk about it, guys, because it was on my mind, it was on my heart, about the reparations fiasco, the reparations situation. And I'm going to do a full show on it, but I just got an epiphany. And that epiphany was, I got some Indian in me. Black reparations, I got some Indian in me. And I don't know where I came up with it, but it made a lot of sense when I was thinking about it. And we got to have that conversation. To those that are watching, the 4 or the 3 that are watching, should we have reparations? That's the question. Do you guys believe in reparations? And if you do believe in reparations, how should it be appropriated? About to go outside, leaving the casino. I wanted to drop by here. I've always wanted to go to Western North Carolina, far West North Carolina. Probably going to Blowing Rock at some point, Chimney Rock. And once again, guys, if you've never been to the state of North Carolina, it's one of the greatest states in the union, in my opinion. Very diverse topography, rolling hills, verdant greens. As you guys can see, at the Indian Reservation, very nice casino at the Indian Reservations. Very nice. Very nice. We're about to leave in a minute.
Take it down to the Cherokee Tower, and it'll be on the first floor. You'll see a bar. Yes, sir. It's right behind the bar.
So as it appears, guys, you gotta have a membership to get into this area of the casino. You gotta have a membership. No one can, anyone can't just walk in. So you gotta have a membership. So guys, we're gonna end it here. What do you guys think? Should those of African descent get reparations? Should they get it like the Native American people? I would say yes. We definitely deserve reparations. But it's very, it would take a lot of conversation and a lot of consideration to more or less figure it out. But I think it's definitely, it's justifiable. And I think it's definitely needed. Because you can't talk about a broader or great America, but you never gave those of those descent the proper words of appropriation. Besides some BS, I'm sorry. Nobody gives a shit about them beating them sorry. We don't care about sorry. Sorry don't the D thing to me. I don't give a shit about no government saying, I'm sorry. You need to pay up like you paid the Chinese. You need to pay up like you pay all other groups. You need to pay up because an apology is not enough. And the truth being told, guys, the labor that black Africans used to build this country, it would be in the trillions of dollars. So they could never really properly pay black people back for the labor that they've more or less utilized. But I do believe that there's ways to do it. It could be grants, it could be loans for businesses, it could be governmental contracts. There's a way to properly pay those of African descent back for the travesties of the American government. And once again, as I said, guys, it will be in the form of grants, business contracts. But before that's given, like I said, I think people need to go do some type of mental training or therapy to talk about financial management, transgenerational trauma, and a lot of other things before we give out thousands of dollars to people that don't understand how money works. Money is a powerful weapon, it's a powerful tool. The scripture said money is the answer to all things, but the love of money is the beginning of all sorts of evil. And so, until you give people the proper training regarding money, that's what the $1 million question is, the $1 million problem is. So to the 6 that are watching, do you guys think the reparations could change the trajectory of African people? Do you guys think that could happen? Do you guys think it's feasible? How you doing? Do you guys think it's feasible? outside of the casino, guys, in Cherokee. Do you guys think it's feasible to, do you guys think it's feasible to give those of African, ADOS descent, African descent, a certain amount of money for governmental contracts? Because, like I said, I definitely don't believe in white liberals. I think they're the damn main problem that's wrong with Black America. They tend to over-pathologize victimhood. But Black conservatives, many times, not all, tend to minimize how systemic racism works. They'll say things like, pull yourself up by the bootstraps, work hard. And while that's true, then ask the question about the Black farmers. The Black farmers, guys, are pulling themselves up by the bootstraps. The Black farmers are an example of what I call unfair meritocracy. The Black farmers worked hard. They wanted money to continue to build farms, but the white government never gave it to them. When you think about Black contractors, they were working their asses off trying to get contracts to build things, but they never gave those Black contractors the same power they gave the white contractors. So those Black conservatives always used those talking points about work hard and all that goofy ish. Then you're playing in the hands of white supremacy. To the white liberals, they always pathologize victimhood. They're worse, in my opinion, because even though our ancestors were better under Jim Crow racism, I think we're worse off now because we don't have any more leadership. You got race hustlers like Al Sharpton and these tired, damn broken Democrats they haven't done nothing for Black families and communities ever since, but push these liberal agendas. They're the problem, mostly in Black America. Men of them need to damn die out and die off because they haven't added anything to the conversation over the last 40 or 50 years. The only thing they talk about is the damn slave narrative and racism. And while racism does exist, I don't think that's the issue that's more or less stopping Black people from being successful as much. It does exist in pockets, but a lot of the things that we go through now is self-inflicted, a lot of it. So anyway, guys, the question is, Black reparations, is it necessary? I think it's necessary. And also, Black reparations, I have some Indian in me. What do you guys think? Should we change the conversation about Black wealth and Black reparations? And if we do change the conversation, will Black reparations change the trajectory of Black families for the generations to come? I think so. Tell me what you guys think. Hit the like button, share the content. We're signing off, guys. Bring it to you live once again from the great state of the Union, the Tar Heel State, at the Cherokee Reservation. I'll see you guys soon. Be well.